the hidden of dangers of always needing others. Human beings are wired for connection. From the moment we're born, we rely on others to survive, grow, and make sense of the world. Relationships bring richness to our lives: love, companionship, collaboration, and comfort. But what happens when our need for others becomes a dependency? When we cannot make a decision, feel okay, or find peace without someone else's approval or presence. This chapter dives deep into the hidden dangers of always needing others, emotionally, mentally, and even spiritually. It's about understanding the quiet erosion of self that occurs when we build our lives too heavily on the opinions, presence, or validation of other people. 1. The trap of external validation. At the heart of needing others too much is the desire for external validation. It's the quiet voice in your head saying, "If they approve of me, then I'm enough. If they respond to my text, then I matter. If they agree with my choices, then I made the right one." When your sense of worth comes mostly from others, you lose the ability to see yourself clearly. Instead of knowing your value from within, you start chasing it in reactions, attention, likes, or compliments. This creates a fragile sense of self, one that rises and falls based on how others treat you. The danger? Your happiness becomes a moving target. You can never fully relax into yourself because your worth is always on the line, waiting to be confirmed. 2. Loss of authenticity. When you rely heavily on others for emotional grounding or identity, you often begin to shapeshift to keep them close. You might find yourself saying yes when you mean no, hiding parts of yourself to avoid conflict, agreeing just to avoid disapproval, becoming whoever they want you to be. This constant self-editing slowly disconnects you from your true self. You become more focused on being liked than being real. Over time, it gets hard to even know what you want, what you believe, or how you truly feel. And the cost? Deep inside, it leads to resentment, burnout, and a haunting feeling of being unknown, even to yourself. 3. Dependency disguised as love or loyalty. Neediness can often disguise itself as love. You might think, "I just care so much," or "I can't live without them." But love and dependency are not the same. Healthy love says, "I want you, but I don't need you to be whole." Unhealthy dependency says, "Without you, I fall apart." True love gives freedom. It supports individuality. But dependency creates pressure, fear, and control. It leads to emotional suffocation, either for you or the person you're clinging to. The relationship becomes a lifeline instead of a partnership, and when that lifeline wavers, your entire world shakes. 4. Decision paralysis and lack of inner compass. People who overly depend on others often struggle to make decisions. They constantly second-guess themselves, looking to others for direction. "What do you think I should do?" becomes a reflexive question. While seeking wise counsel is healthy, never being able to trust your own judgment is not. Here's the danger. When you hand over your decision-making power to others, you eventually forget how to hear your own voice. And when life gets hard, and it will, you may find yourself lost, uncertain, and anxious because you've never developed the tools to guide yourself. 5. Fear of abandonment and the pursuit of safety. Many people who always need others carry a deep, often unconscious fear of abandonment. This fear can lead to clinging to unhealthy relationships, avoiding necessary confrontation, settling for less just to avoid being alone. The mind plays tricks here. It tells you being with someone, anyone, is safer than being alone. But in reality, being with the wrong people can be far more damaging than solitude. You might avoid being alone at all costs, not realizing that time spent alone is where confidence, creativity, and clarity are born. 6. Stunted emotional growth. Constantly leaning on others to soothe your emotions or make you feel okay can stunt your emotional maturity. It prevents you from learning how to sit with discomfort, self-soothe in moments of anxiety, process emotions on your own. If you've never learned to weather life's storms without leaning heavily on someone else, you may find yourself crumbling when that person isn't there. Growth happens when we're stretched, when we face our inner storms without always outsourcing our calm. 7. Losing the power of solitude. Solitude is not loneliness. It's a sacred space where you can meet yourself fully, when you're always surrounded by others. Physically or digitally, you rarely get a chance to hear your own thoughts without the noise of others' opinions. Solitude teaches you what you truly enjoy, what drains you versus what fills you, how to sit in silence without panicking. If you fear being alone, it's often because you haven't yet befriended yourself. But when you learn to enjoy your own company, you become emotionally bulletproof, not in a detached way, but in a grounded, resilient way. 8. Relationships based on fear, not love. When you always need others to feel okay, your relationships often come from fear, not freedom. You might stay quiet to avoid rocking the boat, overgive to keep someone from leaving, tolerate mistreatment because the thought of being alone is worse. These aren't relationships, they're survival strategies. And while they may feel safe in the moment, they chip away at your dignity over time. Real love begins when you can walk away, not out of anger, but out of self-respect. You know you'll be okay, even if the relationship ends. 9. The false comfort of constant connection. Technology has made it easier than ever to never be alone. We scroll, text, call, swipe, and share constantly. It creates the illusion of connection, but often it's just a distraction from facing ourselves. The need to be plugged in all the time can be a form of emotional avoidance. You're never alone, but also never truly present. The fear of missing out, FOMO, the craving for likes, and the anxiety of silence all point to a deeper issue, an unsteady relationship with yourself. 10. Reclaiming your inner strength. So what's the way out? The antidote to overdependence isn't isolation, it's inner anchoring. It's learning to know your value, even in silence. Make decisions that align with your truth. Walk away when your soul says no. Enjoy connection, but not rely on it for wholeness. You can still love deeply, connect meaningfully, and seek support, but from a place of strength, not survival. Start small. Take a solo walk without your phone. Make a decision without polling 3 friends. Sit with discomfort instead of rushing to vent it. With each moment of inner self-trust, you become more powerful, more peaceful, and more whole. Final thoughts. You are already enough. You are not half a soul searching for its other half. You are not a puzzle piece waiting to be completed by someone else. You are already whole, already worthy. Needing others isn't the problem. Only needing others is. When you build your life on your own solid foundation, relationships become beautiful additions, not lifelines. You stop fearing abandonment because you know you'll always have your own back. In the end, the strongest relationships come from those who don't need each other, but choose each other, freely, joyfully, and fully. And that starts with you.